for the record, the defense ready to proceed.
Yes, Your Worship, we confirm our appearance on behalf of accused one, ready to proceed.
Thank you.
Ready to
Get my
proceed.
views. Thank you. Mr. Malema, you are reminded that you are still under oath in this matter. Thank you, Advocate Caesar. If you're ready, then first examination may commence.
Thank you, Bishop. Mr. Malema, just before we proceed, I would have the same request that I made to Mr. de Klerk yesterday, that we just go through the evidence slowly so I can record everything.
I'm sorry to do this. I will need this because the lights are very, and I'm battling to see. There's a switch in the office that I just pressed, and if you can say brighter or lighter or dimmer, please, it will just assist me. It will take a second. We don't even have to go off record or be stand or sit. Just
You're going away? A bit better, but it's going lighter. Yeah, it's no, this one's dimmer. It's still dim.
I'll just have to make we'll just have to do. Thank you. Sorry for that. Thank you. We may proceed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Malema, you've testified yesterday that you arrived in East London on the 28th of July 2018. It's common cause that you were here, is that correct?
Not arrived on the 28th. Arrived on the 28th at the stadium, not East London. Huge difference between stadium and East London.
When did you arrive in East London?
I wouldn't remember. I was at the stadium, Sister Dukashi, on the 28th of July, Your Worship. We normally arrive a week before to engage in build-up activities.
On the date of the incident, the 28th of July, what time did you arrive at the stadium?
I normally arrive between 1 and 3, so I won't have an exact time, but between 1 and 3 I would arrive, because the latest I can give the speech is 3 o'clock.
You already testified that you were in the presence of 4 bodyguards on the day in question, is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
And these bodyguards, you testified, has been with you from when you arrived at the Sisa Dukashe Stadium.
Yes.
You also testified that you remained at the stadium from the time that you arrived there, and you left about 2 o'clock a.m. in the early hours of the morning of 29 July. Is that correct?
That would be the latest.
accused number 2, did he arrive with you as part of the group?
No.
When did you see accused number 2 at that particular stadium on the day in question?
I saw accused number 2 on the 27th of July when we're doing the inspection of the sound and the stage a night before the event, and then saw him again on the 28th of the actual event, because a night before we do the inspection of the sound and the stage and the entire venue.
Prior to this incident, or have you known accused number 2?
Absolutely.
For how long in 2018 have you known accused number 2?
I think I've known accused number 2 in 2008 when I went to address the student at Zululand University, UKZN now. And during my address, the Inkatha Youth Brigade switched off the lights in the hall, and the protectors came taking me out of the hall. And before I knew it, I was in a car driven by a white man. I got so scared.
I can imagine, Mr. Malema.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's when I met accused number 2.
From that day onwards, did you two of you remain in regular contact with one another?
Not regular contact as in you will call your friend or anything of that sort, but he has been around the events of the Youth League, and when the EFF was formed, he has been a service provider as well to the EFF. But he's from KZN, so I'm from Limpopo.
In what capacity was he there on the 27th, the date before this incident, on the 27th of July? You said when you went to go visit the stadium and inspect the stadium, in what capacity was accused number 2 there?
Hey, I wouldn't know, but he was there. So it had nothing to do with me. I wouldn't know what he was doing there on the 28th of July.
You testified yesterday that you had many of these anniversaries and events prior to this incident. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
And that you testified yesterday also, if I don't know if I recorded your evidence correctly, you must forgive me if I haven't,
Sure.
that you will usually make simulations of firearms when you are having these events.
Well, not necessarily simulations of firearm. I'm saying what is a permanent feature, Your Worship, in every event we are in, not only at the anniversaries, but at any political gathering, at any revolutionary gathering. Our songs include doing a gesture with your hand, demonstrating a firearm or a gun. Yeah, so that's us.
Can you demonstrate what do you mean by this gesture of a gun?
So when we sing, we normally do a hand like this.
Yes, you should be can.
Like this, the witness is holding his hand in the air. I would say this is your pointing finger and the thumb in the air, similar, and the other three fingers going backwards. Okay.
Was there ever gestures made with wooden firearms carved out of wood when you do such gestures?
I was trained to use firearms at the age of 9 years when I was part of a young pioneers movement called Masupatsela of Walter Sisulu. At that age, they taught us how to handle a firearm. And the beginning of such a course was actually with wooden guns.
So are you confirming that some of your celebrations you actually do use wooden carved firearms?
That was at an early age. We graduated to use the real stuff. And the real stuff in this sense, real firearms in the struggle against apartheid. Since then, I've never or seen any of my leaders use a wooden gun. That was when we're young, when we're being introduced into the idea of firearms.
But since the inception of the EFF up to this date, when you had your 5th anniversary, you never demonstrated with a real firearm. Is that correct?
No.
Or a firearm that resembles the one that you brought to court yesterday?
No, it was for the first time.
Why was this decision taken?
But for aesthetics, it's like asking me, in all the 10 years of the EFF, have you ever gone up a stage? The stage, has it ever gone up? It was for the first time. It's always new concept to fit into, what you are doing at a particular time. Ideas are thrown around, and because it was not done before, it doesn't mean it can be done. The stage went up for the different, so that you don't become a boring organization and people know what you are going to do. They must always be there and get surprised by some acts that you put forward in those gatherings. So it's events, basically. And then even some awards have never been the same.
Who came up with this idea, Mr. Malema?
We came up with it in the EFF. We work as a collective. So I wouldn't say so and so or so and so came up with the idea, but whatever happens at the stage of the EFF would have been a collective idea.
have this been discussed with the person in charge of JOC, that was Colonel Nkwali?
I wouldn't know. I don't sit in JOC. That question should have been put to the JOC person who came here. I can't be made to make or to present a version on a non-existing version. There's no version that says I was not, or the EFF did not say this is what is going to happen. I was not sitting in JOC.
Colonel Nkwali did testify, Mr. Malema, that's why I'm asking you. He testified, he said this was never discussed with him. He would not have approved it if it was discussed with him.
There's no way you want to approve a toy. We didn't discuss that Dr. Malinga is going to perform there and jump on the stage with JOC. But Dr. Malinga performed. Had he fallen and broken his leg, and they come here and said, had we known that he was going to perform, we're not going to allow him to jump on the stage. You don't discuss every little detail, especially if it is not of security risk with JOC. We're not being micromanaged by JOC. The responsibility of JOC is to secure the event, not to manage the program of the EFF. What goes on the stage of the EFF is a decision of the EFF, as long as it has got no security implications. So a toy will not have security implications, requires no approval of the police or any other person.
I'm just trying to find that part in my
Sure.
notes where you testified yesterday that the person in charge at JOC, every little thing that happens at the stadium needed to be passed by him or needed to be discussed with him.
Yesterday, it was just yesterday, not long time ago. Your memory should be very fresh. I never said that.
Yes. He said every little thing that happened on that stadium, the people, this person in charge of the stadium, which is JOC, the SAPS member, every little thing that happens there, I just said, every little thing, responsible, the person in charge, they are responsible for every little thing that happens on that stadium. That was your answer yesterday, that's how I recall it.
That's not what he said, Your Worship, at the beginning. The first thing he said, I said, everything, every little thing passes through JOC. I never said that. I said, JOC is responsible for every little detail of what is happening in the stadium. That is in relation to security. My worship, I'm saying to you, there were dancers there. Some of them would have came with the sigubu. I will not have drums. I will not require JOC to know that. But JOC will know there's going to be artists, there's going to be entertainment. A program gets presented in a JOC meeting where it indicates the informal program, the formal program, and the entertainment after the program. As to what goes into the detail of that entertainment has got nothing to do with JOC. As to what goes into the detail of that formal program, who's going to speak, who's not going to speak, it has nothing to do with JOC. But they know at some point there will be a formal program, and after that there will be entertainment. And after entertainment, the most likelihood is that they will retreat into a VIP area. They don't know what beer is being supplied in the VIP area, but they know that there is refreshments in that VIP area.
This little demonstration was discussed, Mr. Malema, with JOC. The likelihood is that we would not have been here, you would not have been coming to this court for 5 years.
No, you brought me wrongly here, and you know that. Either you want to build your career with my name, using my name, and destroy my reputation, and destroy the future of my children and my wife. You know very well that you brought me here wrongly. Look at all the 19 statements that you have led before this court. No one can associate me with any wrongdoing. I cannot regret having done nothing wrong. I possessed a toy. It requires no license. It requires nobody's permission for me to use it at any time. Well, if that was a requirement, I would have complied with the law. Like the person you brought here of the job, who said, this was the best team ever, the most disciplined and highly cooperative.
Mr. Malema, may I request that we maintain the mutual respect we had for one another since the beginning of this trial up to now.
What do you mean by that?
Just a request that I'm having.
What do you mean by that? You brought me here for 6 years for no issue. And that is not disrespectful. It's robust, but it's not disrespectful. I'm being honest. You have put this court in this predicament because you could have taken a decision when you took over the case. When the first prosecutor left, you could have taken over the case and made a decision on your own independently and objectively. You refused to do that. It was you in the argument of 174 who said, had you known the facts you know now about Larry Mabunda, you would have charged him. That on its own should have told you there is something wrong here. And as an objective prosecutor, declined to proceed with something that has got loopholes. I'm not being disrespectful, Your Worship. I'm being honest. And I'm telling my truth as I see it.
In hindsight, this idea of having this particular demonstration at the particular stadium, Mr. Malema, what I'm trying to say to you is that if that was discussed with Job, it would have been easily resolved that this was indeed a toy firearm, as you claim that you used on the night in question.
My brother, there was no need because no license is required, no permission is required. You have not led any evidence that suggests there was a need for a permission to be acquired before you use a toy gun. Police officers in their different ranks, including some aspects who came here, they've made it very clear. You require no license to use a toy. Your Worship, everything that required a permission of the jog went past the jog. And who is the witness for us here? Is the jog person who came here and said they were the most compliant, disciplined people I've ever dealt with, and had very good words to say about our Secretary General.
Thank you. You also testified regarding the bodyguards that have always been present.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
Yes.
You still haven't been able to establish the name of the bodyguard that you showed yesterday on the video footage.
You can ask me the name, I'll give it to you with ease.
Do you know it?
Yes, Kari. Warrant Officer Kari. Khari. There were actually two. The other one is Chauge.
I'm so busy with the
Oh.
KHI.
Khari.
The second one?
Chauge. Chauge, CHA.
I've got it.
Okay.
You also said that if there was anything untoward, they would have acted on that stadium if that was indeed a real firearm. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And my witness is, I don't know what you call him, Colonel Swart Boy, who said in his evidence in chief here that had something happened wrongly in front of those people, they had a duty to take an action against him. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting him verbatim.
Mr. Malema, these statements was read relating to the bodyguards were read to Colonel Swartboy when he was testifying. I'm going to go through it again. The one of Andile Kume.
Yes.
He states that I hereby states in English under oath he gives his rank as a sergeant in the South African Police Service. He's stationed at the Protection Security Services in East London. He hereby confirms, unless the context, I don't want to read through the legalities, I just want to go to the crux of his statement if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's A65. I'm going to start with the first paragraph from the top, where it says that my colleague and I, known as Sergeant Nzelani, also stationed at the Protection Security Services East London, was at East London Airport on 21st July 2018, awaiting the arrival of Mr. Malema and his dignitaries. 3 colleagues from the National Protection Security Officers, known as Collins, Chauke, and Gary, joined us at the East London Airport on the mentioned date. On 28 July 2018, I was the leading vehicle alone, with Collins driving Mr. Malema, Julius Malema, and Sergeant Zelani and Kari as the backup vehicle. We departed from the Julius Malema accommodation to the Sisa Dukasha Stadium, Dansani, East London, and stated in the above formation. On our arrival at the stadium, myself and Sergeant Zelani were not allowed into the designated stage area and remained outside. During the evening late, we were allowed inside the designated area where the detailed vehicles was parked. At no stage did I witness any shooting or enter the stage area. He said I issued with a Glock 9mm. I don't think the remainder of that paragraph is relevant to whatever, but he says that at no stage did he enter that area or the stadium.
We'll have to read it again. I mean, you are the one who's reading it. He says, were later allowed into the designated, and then you say, after reading that, you say, he says, at no stage was he ever allowed. He says, were later allowed into the designated area, and I've not seen anything wrong.
Where the vehicles was parked. He didn't say on the stage, he says where the vehicles was parked.
Your Worship, were not allowed in the designated area. Later were allowed into the designated area. So where were the cars parked all along? Where?
Can I ask
Because the story is that once they drop you off, you go around the stage. Both the driver of the main car and the backup car will now take the cars right behind the stage. Because as part of protection protocols, is that in a case of danger, you must be rescued from the stage right into the car and escape. How are you going to be rescued into the car when you still have to run to the parking and there is some bus which has blocked your car? Always, the VIP cars are parked in a manner that, in a way, without saying, they're preparing escape. That's why when they arrive, they might be facing the direction opposite the gate, but they will have to turn them around to face the gate, because when the need for the escape comes, there will not be time to turn the cars around. They must always be in a state of readiness for escape.
Can I ask you, Mr. Malema, where was these cars parked?
Behind the stage.
Behind.
Yes, behind the stage. And Your Worship, I mentioned to you 2 names. Of all the 5 that were there, I mentioned to you 2 names. That of Kari and Chauke, that they were on the stage. There might be 5. Out of 5 of them, 2 ordinarily will be drivers. It will be a driver of the main car and a driver of the backup. And the rest of the 3 deploy each other, position themselves in such a way that they don't lose contact with the body.
With the body to drive.
Yes. And your worship, if you were to ask me who were the drivers, like the names he's reading from the Eastern Cape, I don't know them. Police just tell me when you arrive, you're going to find a VIP protection at the airport, and then these are other 3 VIP protectors with you. So the reason why Chauke and Kari are known to me is because before East London, they've been on my body for quite some time. I don't have to know them. They are subs. They are men of cloth. They are trustworthy. As long as they are known to the principals and the principals say to me, this is what goes on, my job is to comply and trust subs with those responsibilities.
If this person was in the area where he says he was, cars parked, as you stated, behind the stadium, could he have witnessed, I'm asking you, could he have witnessed what transpired if the shots were fired on the stage, if he was where he say he was?
A policeman has got ears of a dog. If a firearm was to be shot here, policemen by their instinct will hear there is something wrong, and they will dare to follow up as to, are we still on course or is there a problem? So as a VIP protector, had he had things that are funny and intimidating, surely he was going to pay attention, to look at the direction of his colleagues, to see if there is danger coming so that he can prepare himself. He was not sleepy. He doesn't say in that statement he was sleeping.
Could he have seen, if he was in that area where the cars were parked behind the stadium, could he have seen if those shots were fired when it was fired?
Your worship, I wouldn't know. But the fact of the matter is the police officer was there with me, right next to the stage where I was, looking after the cars, whereas his colleagues were with me on the stage.
He says he didn't see anything.
I can't be bothered by police. I have to deliver a 2-hour speech at that time. That's what goes through my head. My security, who does what, it is their duty. They get paid for that. I get paid for giving a speech. Let's all do our jobs. It's not my job to look at where police are and what they are doing. They will give a report if something goes wrong with that body, which they are assigned to look after. So you now want to make me a supervisor of police. I must now look after them instead of them looking after me. It's not my duty.
If I understood your evidence correctly yesterday, was that 4 police bodyguards were always with you. You even said when you go to the toilet, these people will be with you.
I've never said 4 bodyguards were always with me. I said these are bodyguards and they are assigned to a body. When you go to a toilet, they are there. It can't be all 4 of them. Obvious. I mean, they assign each other's responsibilities. I was just saying to the court, I had subs with me. As to which one was in the car, which one was on the stage, their pocketbook will tell. But SAPS was there. And it is not in dispute, Your Worship, that I had police with me.
Thank you. I'm going to go on to the next bodyguard statement. It's marked A66. The introductory paragraphs is not that important. I hope you don't mind if I go straight to the crux of the actual statement. The next statement that I want to read to you is Lindisa, Morrison, and Zelani. He also states that on 21 July 2018, my colleague and I was assigned to escort, I assume it's escort and typing errors, Mr. Julius Malema and his dignitaries who arrived at the East London airport. With us was, it's supposed to be 3 colleagues from the National Protection Security Officers whom we met at the East London airport. The 3 colleagues are known to me as Collins, Kara, Chauke, and I can confirm that Collins drove Julius Malema's vehicle, a black Mercedes-Benz, from the arrival until the departure. On the 28th of July 2018, I can confirm that Collins from the National Protection Security Service drove Mr. Malema's vehicle. Sergeant Kuma from the London PSS office was the leading vehicle, a 328 BMW. It's type LAC, L-A-C-K, but I assume it's supposed to be black vehicle. And that was just a typing, and he was alone. I was in the backup vehicle, a Ford Ranger, white in color, with Kara from the National PSS office. We departed from the accommodation site to the Sisa Dukasha Stadium, Dansanis, London, in the bar formation. On our arrival, the 3 colleagues from the National PSS office was allowed on the stage erected for the EFF 5th celebrations, while myself and Sergeant Kuma was not allowed and remained parked outside the designated area. I can confirm that during the evening of 28th of July 2018, my colleague and I was allowed into the designated area by the tents to get food. Later, we were allowed to enter the parking area to align the vehicle for the escort to be escorted out. At no stage did I enter the stage area and witness any shooting taking place in my presence. I only became aware of the alleged shooting taking place via the national news and social media. He also stated that it was the type of firearm number 10, the firearms that they had on their possession. So I don't really want to focus on the last paragraph. It's just basically saying what they had, what they were carrying during that. So in other words, he said he was also not close to that stage or at the stage during the incident. He didn't see what transpired there.
I wouldn't know it's his statement.
I want to move to the next bodyguard statement, Mr. Peter Piha Edwin Kage. It's A67. Paragraph 1, he basically just gives his occupation, where he's employed, and so on. I don't think it's necessary to read that particular paragraph, but he was also one of the protection services. I'm going to start with his affidavit that he made, paragraph 2. The purpose of this affidavit is to provide the investigating officer with my version of events that took place during the EFF FITs. I just want to make sure if my colleagues did get the actual statement. Sorry, I apologize. Yes, I want to apologize for that.
Worship, we have all the statements. It was confirmed when we cross-examined Colonel Swartboy that they had all of these statements.
You don't want to take him out of the
Yes.
I'm not saying anything, but I've got no objection to it.
Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you, Bishop. I'll try to read slower. Thank you, Mr. I'm going to start with paragraph 2. I'm going to read much slower than I did earlier. The purpose of this affidavit is to provide the investigating officer with my version of events that took place during the EFF 5th anniversary celebration in Lansane, East London on 28 July 2018. This affidavit does not traverse each and every detail of the event, but rather addresses the incident regarding the alleged discharging of a firearm by the political party leader, Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Julius Malema, who was at the time the subject of my duties as a VIP protector. Paragraph 3. During the alleged incident referred to in paragraph 2 above, I was on the stage with my back turned to the crowd. My back was turned to the crowd because I think you want to say I was in charge of securing the back door to the left. I was covering the left side entrance from the back that lead to the front of the stage. I was responsible, among other things, for the verification of accreditations of individuals who were gaining access to the stage.
Worship, may I make a suggestion that we hand your worship a copy? It's ridiculous to, these are long statements. It's not in dispute. I can hand them to your worship rather than waiting, because the questions are becoming 5 or 10 minutes and difficult to answer. In any event, I believe once he's cross-examined on them, they could be accepted as exhibits. I have them all, I'll hand them up as he talks. My one has a bit of underlining, but he has 65, 66, and those on 67. We have spare copies.
Thank you.
It will be in the end series in due course. They've got flags to assist your worship as well. Your worship, let me also explain. There are signed versions. Your worship, the docket was typed, as it often happens.
Yes.
So it will say they're signed, and it was signed in the handwritten version.
No,
So there's nothing to be drawn from the fact that they're not attested to in these copies. We have the, if your worship wants, I'll give you the handwritten ones as well.
No, I accepted those copies and that it is start and it will be easy
Thank you.
for me to follow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I stopped. I was covering the left side entrance from the back that lead to the front of the stage. I was responsible, amongst other things, for the verification of accreditation of individuals who were gaining access to the stage. In paragraph 4, I did not personally see the Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Julius Malema, discharge any firearm during the event and during his time on stage. Further to the above, I did not see him in possession of any item that had the appearance of a real or toy gun. Paragraph 5. During the time the Commander-in-Chief was on the stage, there was a substantial noise resulting from the fireworks which were ignited at the time he was on stage. As a result thereof, I cannot state, deny or confirm that I heard the sound of gunshots.
It's his statement, Your Worship. And what is more interesting is that they went to collect their statements, but never invited them here to come and become witnesses. The court should wonder why. Why the officers of the court who were there on that day, who could be the most reliable witnesses of all witnesses, were left out. If anything, we went to fetch a cleaner who picked up a cartridge, but did not go and fetch a trained police officer who can distinguish all types of sounds and who can distinguish real or a toy gun. I never asked for their statements. They collected their statements and never invited them here. Some of these questions as to where were you parked? Were you sleeping? Were you eating? You went to fetch food. What time? I can't answer for that. They must answer for themselves because they were since invited to come and give their statement. So, Your Worship, the statements are not favorable to the case of the state. As a result, they leave out the people who can help this court arrive at a proper conclusion because of that, those people. Those are the most trusted people of all of us who were there, police officers.
Mr. Malema, the person that you identified yesterday on the video, which you said was a close protection person, that specific person, what was his name?
Kari. And I'm not just saying he was there. I showed you on the video there. And not my video, your video. I didn't bring any video myself.
Do you know if this Kari is just a nickname? Do you know what's his real name?
The way you are reading it differently, I'm reading it differently. But if you give me that thing, the name, whatever paper you are reading, maybe we're talking about the same thing. Because I had your pronunciation is different from my pronunciation, but we're going in the same direction.
Yes. I'm going to read the affidavit now of Mr. Thomas Chauke to you.
It's about A68.
It's A68. I'm going to start at paragraph 2 because paragraph 1 is basically just where he's employed and the formalities in making an affidavit of this nature.
Sure.
Paragraph 2 states the purpose of this affidavit is to provide the investigating officer with my version of events that took place during the EFF's 5th anniversary celebration at Ndansane, East London on the 28th July 2018. This affidavit does not transverse each and every detail of the event, but rather addresses the incident regarding the alleged discharging of a firearm by a political party leader, Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Julius Malema, who was at the time the subject of my duties as a VIP protector. Paragraph 3. During the alleged incident referred to in paragraph 2 above, I was on the stage with my back turned to the crowd. My back was turned to the crowd because I was in charge of securing the back door to the right. I was covering the right side entrance from the back that lead to the front of the stage. I was responsible, amongst other things, for the verification of accreditation of individuals who were gaining access to the stage. I did not personally see the Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Julius Malema, discharge a firearm during the event and during his time on stage. Further to the above, I did not see him in possession of any item that had the appearance of a real or toy gun. Paragraph 5, during the time the Commander-in-Chief was on the stage, there was a substantial noise resulting from the fireworks which were ignited at the time he was on stage. As a result thereof, I cannot state, deny, or confirm that I heard the sounds of gunshots. So if you look at his affidavit, it's almost identical than the one that I've just read previously.
Yes. And we're in no position, Your Worship, to ask them if they were assisted by the investigating officer or whoever to compile those statements, because they were never called in. But I wish the Worship to note something. In the VIP protection, and I'm not sure if it's the procedure of all the police, there is what they call a pocket book. They write every little detail. We are now being read the statements of the police officers who were there. But nowhere are we provided a pocket book, copy of the pocket book of each police officer who was there. Because if there was any incident that required the police to record it, they would have recorded it, because at that time they would not have thought maybe this is going to be an issue. But as part of their procedure, they must record it. We're not being told about the pocket book of the police, what it says. We're not being given the most reliable witnesses of the court, in this court, to come and speak to their statement. What happens, which is unfair to me, I must now speak for them. Where the statement were taken, I don't know. Who advised them to take the statement? What happened? I don't know. What was the context? What was this environment? I don't know. But what the court needs to notice in all of those statements that have been read so far, not a single statement suggests there was any wrongdoing.
Mr. Malema, it's common cause that this event did take place. It's common cause between the state and the defense that shots were fired. Whether the only issue here is whether it was a toy firearm or a real gun. So the reason why I'm reading this, I'm still going to get to that part, if you would allow me.
No problem.
The next statement is one also for the bodyguards. It's marked A69. It's Mbula.
Your Worship, this one is attested, you'll see.
Mbulaheni Colin Nengovela. Mark A69. I'm going to leave paragraph 1 because basically it's just a description of his occupation, where he is employed, and the formalities that you have to comply with when you draft an affidavit. I'm going to start with paragraph 2. The purpose of this affidavit is to provide the investigating officer with my version of events that took place during the EFF 5th anniversary celebration at Ndansane, East London, on 28 July 2018. This affidavit does not traverse each and every detail of the event, but rather addresses the incident regarding the alleged discharging of a firearm by a political party leader, Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Julius Malema, who was at the time the subject of my duties as a VIP protector. Paragraph 3. During the alleged incident referred to in paragraph 2 above, I was at all material times stationed in the primary motor vehicle that was utilized to transport Mr. Malema as the primary subject of my VIP protection duties. I was never on stage during the alleged incident. Therefore, I did not personally see the Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Julius Malema, discharge any firearm during the event and during his time on stage. Further to the above, I did not see him in possession of any item that had the appearance of a real or toy gun, whether in the car or on any such stage.
It's their statement, Your Worship, but from prosecutor's point of view, objectively, if he had not allowed to be used by AfriForum for political ends, we wouldn't be where we are. This matter was advocated for by AfriForum. This was no issue, Your Worship. That's why no one picked it up. There was no issue at all. When they saw something that they can use to politically discredit me, they pressured the NPA to prosecute even where there is no issue. I'm now being made to answer a statement which does not implicate me, because I have to be implicated for me to answer. What am I answering now? This person says, I've not seen Mr. Malema do the things that you are saying he has done. And then I'm brought before this court to come and answer someone who says, I did not see me doing anything unlawful. It's unfair. This court must never be abused for political means. Crime is crime, it must be punishable. But where there is no prima facie of such, we should not even try to canvass those grounds. As a public protector, a public prosecutor, he's my prosecutor as well. I'm part of the state. He has a duty to say, there's nothing against this guy. I'm not going to prosecute, and allow the AfriForum to prosecute me privately if they so wish. But they must not use the limited resources of the NPA to bring a non-existing issue here. 5 officers of the court on site, not a single one of them says, I've seen Mr. Malema engaged in unlawful activities. And what makes me happy is that in 174, Your Worship was reluctant to canvass these grounds because they were brought to you at a later stage, not much earlier, of the subs VIP being there and their statement. I'm happy now, finally, they are now being presented here as in cross-examination, because this truth I would have told the worship even if they had not brought them forward, that there were police with me on the stage. And how do I commit crime in the presence of the police and I don't get arrested immediately? I'm not a leader of a ruling party. Neither am I a favorite of a ruling party. There is no favor I can do for them for not arresting me. Nothing. So why didn't they arrest me there and there if I did anything wrong?
Mr. Malema, just for the record, you were in court when Colonel Kunkwari testified, and he said that he was the complainant who opened this docket against you.
He was told to open the case against me. He didn't open a case out of his own volition. He was told. Your worship is in the, even in your judgment is there. He was told everything went well. That's my guy. Everything went well according to him. And then the next thing, boom, go and open a case. And I'm a an officer of the law. I work under commanders. When I'm told to do something, I do it so that we can get to the bottom of this. He never, on his own, opened a case. He never, on his own. That is another police officer, by the way, who was responsible for job. He never said from his mouth, I saw Mr. Malema doing something wrong. Never said that. If anything, I was relaxed and told to go and open a case. What can I do? I'm just a mere police officer. I will never hate him for that. I will never take anything personal against him for that. The man never wanted to open any case against me. He was told to do so.
Mr. Malema, if you could allow me to ask you the questions and then you answer that particular question. It will make our time here much shorter. The police said they've never seen you having or bringing that toy firearm or being in possession of that toy firearm or a real firearm on the stage on the night in question. You confirm that from the statements you've heard it.
You have heard that, and I'm saying I brought a toy gun, and none of those statements says I did not bring or I brought a toy gun. So I'm the one who can tell you. That is the only version that stands here.
Who brought the toy firearm to this event?
It will be the EFF Secretary General's office because they are the ones who organize the events.
The toy firearm that you showed yesterday, to whom does it belong to?
It belongs to the EFF.
Who was in possession of this particular toy firearm before it was fired there?
No, Larry handed it over to me. Larry Mabunda. On the picture with accused number 2. On the video, is seen there. After I shot that toy gun, I handed it over back to where it came from capable hands of Larry Mabunda.
Why was it left with the security guard, Larry Mavunza, when this is just a normal toy that anybody can carry?
He also had my bag. Why did he carry it? Because it's my bodyguard. He's there.
You refer to toy firearms. Toy firearms is almost like the play firearms. It doesn't do any damage. It doesn't cause any harm to anybody. Why was it left with Larry Mavunza?
Your Worship, that toy firearm was brought into this court yesterday by Larry Mabunda. That's his job. My bag, I don't have a bag. I'm walking into this court. Where is my bag? Is with him. I only access that toy firearm when the part comes. And then I hand it over back to them. Where you ever seen a president going around carrying things? We get served.
Mr. Malema, is Mr. Mavunza here today?
Yes.
Where is he?
It's in the audience.
Can you show us which one is Mr.
Is this
Mavunza?
allowed? Is this allowed?
Is he present today?
Yes, yeah.
And why can't you just show who he is?
But is it allowed that I should be pointing people in the crowds that are not before this court? What have we turned this court into? Into a mockery.
Mr. Malema, we're going to view the video footage.
That is what is before the court. Play it.
If you say...
Larry Mabunda is not before the court.
Yes.
Why must I be made to point him in the crowd? It's not before the court. We should respect the court because I'm going to ask you if those officers you are reading their statements, are they here? Can you point them? I take what you are saying as being before the court and I deal with that evidence before the court. The evidence before the court is the video where Larry Mabunda is. I will gladly ask her to stop and show the court who is Larry Mabunda. But to be made to point people in the crowds, I don't think that's acceptable.
You identified Mr. Mavunza on that video footage yesterday, is that correct?
Yes.
only thing that I'm asking is to confirm that this person that you identified in that video footage is present and where he is.
I said he's present, it's not the subject of debate. When you were playing the video here, during the whole trial, you used to say, do you see any person on that video who's here? They will say, yes, accused number 2, yes, accused number 1. They've never said we saw the person at the back of the court. It's never like that. Larry Mabunda, you had a duty and you dismally failed the state and wasted the resources of South Africa. You had a duty to charge Larry Mabunda. You didn't charge him. You want me to charge him in the audience? I won't do that. Your worship, the firearm in question was issued to Larry Mabunda. Larry Mabunda is seen on the stage with me where it is alleged that that firearm shot at the shots at the stadium. Where is the first place to go to? Is to go to a person who in his name the firearm has been issued. And what makes matters worse is that the person in question is there in the video, which makes him even more suspect. They don't do that. They leave him out and then they come here to say to me I must point him in the crowd. It's not my job to point people at the crowd. It's my job to point at the evidence presented before you to confirm or deny it.
You also testified yesterday that Colonel Swartboy never came to ask you for your own firearm, because that firearm, the 9mm, we see there could have been your own firearm.
Yes. But again, your worship, and the court has got a duty to protect me. I'm being asked about the firearms that are not before this court. You brought a firearm to this court. Let's deal with it, and not what is not before this court.
Can you confirm, Mr. Malema, that the firearm that was used, is that a toy firearm, the 9mm handgun?
I don't know what is 9mm, what is what. I showed you the toy gun I used here. That's my toy gun.
I'm going to request Ms. Kala to play the videos for you. If you can play all three, and then we'll go back again.
Hey, January, I can't hear what is being said in front if you are mumbling enough yourself. There's a lot of you, it makes it difficult to hear. Sound travels in my direction. Please.
Your Worship, can I ask her to play that, the last one, so I can show you the two VIP protection PSS people I'm talking about?
We're going to get there, Mr. Malema.
Oh.
Can you play the video that you just requested? Or can you please wait? We're going to question you. We're going to question, we're going to ask questions.
Or what that you are going to watch.
No, the one that he just wanted to see?
Okay.
Yes. But can you please wait until we question you about that? Play the third video. I want you to go to the first video again, the one with the 9mm handgun. Can you stop where the shots are fired with the 9mm? That is the 9mm handgun that I'm referring to.
I don't know.
It's a handgun.
I can't see a gun of 9mm. What? I can't. From where I'm sitting, I can't. And there was no such a 9mm what before this court for me to answer to it. If they brought to you before you, Your Worship, a 9mm what and how it looks like, maybe I'll have an idea what they are talking about. I don't know. I can't see. What is that? I can't stand here and say that is 9mm barrel. What? I don't know.
Can we agree that it's a smaller firearm than the other two videos?
No, I can't see if it's smaller or big. This camera was shot too far. I can't see that. Even when you do it with those people of photography, zoom in and what, I don't see it.
Do you want to go closer, sir?
I've been closer 6 years ago. I can still go now. I can't see it. I can't see it. Your Worship, it was going to be helpful if you brought something here so that I can answer what I see and what I see there. I can't. I'm being made to answer for something I don't know what this is for.
Is that the same size firearm than the one that you brought here yesterday.
How do I say it's the same size if I can't see it? I just told you I can't see it. How do I say it's the same or not?
I put it to you that it's a 9mm, that's a handgun.
That's your version to the court, and it remains yours.
The expert that also testified yesterday also saw that that was a handgun.
At least you and that expert agree on something else. At least you also call him expert. I like that. Because he was being questioned here about peer review, which you never did with your expert. 9 statement of a ballistic expert. You never asked for peer review. The court never asked for a peer review. The expert who came and said the things that you didn't like, you asked for peer review. The court said, what must I take this evidence for if it doesn't have a peer review signature? Why did the court not ask those 9 statements about the peer review signatures? Is this a fair trial? Am I being tried fairly?
Mr. Malema, I'm going to put on record that you are vague and you are avoiding the questions.
Agree, you said we must speak to each other in a respectful way. You are not going to do that of pointing pens at me because I can do it times 5. And it's not going to be nice here.
Mr. Malema, the video that you're seeing there, I'm putting it to you, it's a handgun.
You said I'm vague. That's fine. That's what my lawyers will argue with you about. I don't know what is vague. All I'm saying to you is that from where I'm sitting, and I'm not the first one, even the gear house people who came here said from this angle I can't see that gun. Whether it's a gun or what, I don't know. I can't see. And then I'm asked about the size of this gun and the gun that I presented and the one you presented, but never presented this gun. If this gun was before this court, I will gently answer to say, okay, let me look at this one, let me look at the toy, let me look at that one. They are not the same. So I'm being made to answer the things that are not before this court. It's not here.
How many firearms was brought by yourself or the EFF for this display that was going to take place?
The one I showed you yesterday. Which looks exactly the same as the one you brought. That's what is before this court.
You are unable to tell that the one that we're seeing on this video is the same one which you uses on the other 2 videos.
I can't. I don't see it. It would as well be. I can't. I'm sorry. If that is being vague, let it be. Let me fall on my sword.
Yesterday, it was asked by the ballistic expert, Mr. De Klerk, to count those number of shots that were fired from that handgun.
Which one is the handgun now? This one?
This one that we're seeing in this video.
Oh. It was not asked, and I don't know why the court is not intervening there, because it was not asked on this gun. It was asked on a rifle, not on this.
He was specifically asked to count the number of shots he could hear whether it has been fired in this specific video. And he counted about 14 to 15 shots that he heard.
I don't know, the lawyers will have to intervene. I think it was a rifle. I counted with him. It was not on this. It was a rifle. What was asked from a guy to count was on a rifle. It was not on this.
Mr. Malema, what I recall you asked me to adjourn so we can look closer at the video we are watching now. And this, from this video that he was counting. But as you say, your lawyers may intervene if I have got it wrong
I also confirmed that it was on this video, but he never referred to a 9mm. He said it appears to be a gunshot, but I don't know if he's overstating the case for the state. He keeps on referring to it as a 9mm handgun. He said that it appears to be a handgun. He doesn't know if it's real or not, and he counted 14 or 15 shots of this video.
So the only aspect that I could see that the word 9mm was not used, but handgun was used. Okay. Are we? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
That's fine.
Yes. So, in this video, it appears to be a handgun that you're seeing there. That was the evidence of Mr. de Klerk, the expert yesterday. It was further canvassed with him how he was asked to listen to the video and hear how many shots was fired from that video. Are you still following?
Yes, I'm following. I didn't hear the question.
Yes. We just tried to put you into context before the question arrived. So he confirmed that Joseph Roy really need to use the word every time appeared to be a handgun, appeared to be a handgun every time.
Because he was not sure himself. That's why he says it appears to be. It has to be like that repeatedly so that we don't get confused that there was some concession at some point that it is what you say it is. It appears to be, to him.
You've asked, he's actually posed the question to the court, Mr. Malema,
Oh.
so I'll answer him
Okay.
after hearing from counsel and from counsel. To me, I've noted, and it's common cause the evidence refers to what appears to be. The whole case is what appears to be. So do you wish that the word appears to be repeated, or can I take note that it is being said right through the trial, not only pertaining to the handgun, but even the rifle? It appears to be.
I think it's more accurate to say that it appears to be, because it doesn't mean established that there's any firearms in this photo by anybody. And another issue that I have with my learned friend's question is I don't see it in any of the charges. I don't know which charge he's referring to, because it was always the rifle that was an issue in counts 1 to 5, and even the ammunition wouldn't fit into a handgun. So I don't know what charge this is, if it's even a charge.
We'll hear from the state where he's leading with this. Do you have any input, Advocate Otis? Advocate Matthews?
No.
None.
No.
Advocate Caesar, please use the verbal words appear to be.
Thank you, Worship. Can I ask firstly what type of firearm do you own?
I own a Taurus 9mm.
Which is a handgun.
Those things of handgun and what I don't know about this one.
Yes.
Yeah, the small one. I'm not a fanatic of those things.
That is indeed the handgun, Mr. Malema.
Okay, a handgun means.
So if I look at the video, it also appears to be a handgun that you are firing there.
Like I said, my brother, I can't see what is there. You know, had you charged me with this, perhaps I would have paid a particular attention to it and prepare my defense on this thing that you are presenting before me, which court is unable to protect me from. Because I've faced no charge of this nature, and therefore I've been made to answer on things I've never prepared on. My accusation has always been that I've discharged a rifle, and a cartridge of a rifle has been found, and I've prepared my defense in relation to that. Now I'm made to answer things that were never put to me before in order for me to prepare this trial, for it to be a free and fair trial. So I don't see what is there.
Mr. Malema, I'll make it clear now why this is so important in the context of the whole trial. Can you play the video where those people are standing while the shots is being fired? Can you stop? if you look at the side where you're actually firing the shots, which is the right-hand side from where I'm standing, are there people there? And I want you to look at the reaction of those people there once you started firing those shots.
Which people on the stage?
There. Can you go back? Do you understand now why this is so relevant? Because in your evidence yesterday you said once you fire shots, where you coming from, people don't ask questions, they don't look who fired the shots, they just duck or they go down. In this instance, we see people actually running away when you are firing those shots.
I take issue with that. I don't see anybody running. You must show me where you see somebody running. That's incorrect.
But Your Worship, can I also come and point at the worship on the thingy? Because
First answer to the objection, and then we'll continue. Rephrase running or indicate the running advocacies.
They are moving away, Your Worship,
Moving
yes.
away.
And moving quick.
You don't see anybody moving or moving quick. You see people on the stage, remaining on the stage, people in front of the stage, remaining in front of the stage.
Advocate Otis, you are saying what you are seeing, so you're asking me to accept what you are seeing.
If it's an accurate illustration of what he sees, then it doesn't call for an answer. He must ask, do you see people running, is the first question. Not that he sees people running, because I don't see people running, Your Worship. Definitely not.
I'll decide by the view of the state, and you will obviously not be the same. You may play it again and indicate where. I believe yesterday it was said the video cannot be slowed down. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So that's one of the reasons why I asked it earlier, Your Worship, that video must be viewed thoroughly first by counsel in accused number 1 and number 2 to look at these issues that I'm going to raise now.
Your Worship, that's a lie to the court, and I make it very clear. He never asked me to see the video once, and he never said thoroughly. He's now making up a story to explain what he sees in the video, which is incorrect. And in any event, this should unfold in court. It doesn't serve any purpose to do it in some quiet room where nobody's watching. It must be open and transparent, and we're doing that exactly now. He never asked me to watch the video this morning, and he made that clear even in his address to the court. And he never said thoroughly. He said, to prepare them to answer the questions, I want to give them 13 minutes to look at the video, quote unquote. And not the counsel. I need the accused 1 and 2 for the record, Your Worship.
By him, you're referring to counsel for the state.
The
Thank you, Advocate Otis. We'll watch once more. Then I'm going to adjourn for the tea adjournment. We'll come back having all clear minds. Let us have a look again. Then during the... Oh no, you can't ask. Your client wanted to comment or ask something. I didn't entertain because I don't know what you're going to say or ask, and you're not in my hands at this stage. Okay? Sorry? He said what you wanted. All right, then it's fine. All right, it's fine.
Can you play that video again?